Letting go of this person is hard, not because they were everything to you, but because you became someone different with them. And once you understand this, you will never see your pain the same way again. You still feel it, don't you? That invisible pull, that quiet resistance inside you every time you try to move forward. You tell yourself, I should be over this by now. But your heart refuses to cooperate. And the strange part is, it's not just sadness. It's attachment. It's memory. It's identity. Because this person didn't just exist in your life. They became part of your emotional world, your routines, your thoughts, your sense of meaning. And now that they're gone, silence feels louder than words ever did. You keep going back in your mind, replaying moments that no longer exist in reality, searching for something, anything, that makes it easier to accept what happened. But here's what no one tells you. Letting go is not about forgetting someone. It is about understanding what you were really holding on to. Because sometimes, you are not attached to the person. You are attached to the version of yourself that existed with them. And that is why it hurts so deeply. Because when they leave, it feels like you lost you. But what if this pain is not a punishment? What if it is a doorway to something you were meant to become all along? You are not missing them. You are missing the feeling. The person is gone, but the emotion they gave you is still alive inside you. Before you try to heal, you need to understand something uncomfortable. You are not always missing the person. You are missing the emotional state they created inside you. The comfort, the attention, the sense of being chosen. Because human attachment is rarely about logic, it is about emotional conditioning. Your brain remembers how they made you feel, not just who they were. As Carl Jung explained, we are not what happened to us, we are what we choose to become. But when you are attached, you confuse memory with identity. You start believing, I need them to feel complete again. But in reality, you are trying to recreate a feeling that no longer exists in the same form. Think about it like this. Have you ever returned to a place from your childhood only to realize it doesn't feel the same anymore? The place didn't change. You did. That is exactly what happens after emotional attachment. You are trying to return to an emotional version of yourself that no longer exists. And that is why letting go feels like losing something permanent. But the truth is, you are not losing them. You are losing the feeling you once associated with them. And once you understand this distinction, the grip begins to loosen, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, like a door opening from the inside. Emotional dependency, the invisible bond. You didn't notice. You didn't become attached to them. You became attached to how they made you feel about yourself. There is something most people never realize until it's too late. Emotional attachment doesn't form in a moment. It forms in repetition. The way they texted you, the way they listened to you, the way they made you feel seen on your worst days. And slowly, without noticing, your nervous system started associating them with safety, not love, safety. That's why letting go feels like withdrawal, because your brain is not just remembering a person, it is craving a pattern, a familiar emotional loop. And when that loop breaks, your mind panics. As Sigmund Freud described through his work on attachment and unconscious drives, much of human behavior is shaped by hidden emotional dependencies we are unaware of, until loss forces awareness. That's what you're experiencing now, not just heartbreak, but emotional withdrawal. Think about it. Why do you keep checking your phone? Why do you replay old conversations? Why do you imagine scenarios where they come back? It's not logic, it's conditioning. Your mind is trying to restore emotional balance. But here is the truth that changes everything. They were never your emotional source. They were your emotional trigger. And once something becomes a trigger, it can also become a dependency. But dependency is not love. It is repetition, mistaken for connection. And this is where healing begins. Because the moment you see dependency clearly, you stop romanticizing it, and what once felt like love you can't live without starts to look like a pattern you need to outgrow. The pain phase. Why letting go feels like losing yourself. The real reason it hurts is not because they left, but because your identity was built around their presence. There is a specific kind of pain that doesn't come from loss alone. It comes from disorientation, that strange feeling where life continues, but you don't feel fully inside it anymore. You wake up, go through your routine, talk to people, but something feels missing in the background of everything. And you keep thinking, why does this hurt so much? But the answer is not simple, because what you are experiencing is not just emotional pain, it is identity disruption. When someone becomes part of your daily emotional world, your mind doesn't just store them as a memory, it integrates them into your sense of self. Your thoughts begin to orbit around them, your emotions start reacting to them, your future imagination includes them automatically, and then, suddenly, they are gone. So your mind doesn't just lose a person, it loses structure. As Buddha taught, attachment leads to suffering. But what people often misunderstand is this: you are not only attached to the person, you are attached to the identity you formed around them. That version of you who felt loved, that version of you who had hope, that version of you who believed in a shared future, and now that version feels like it is collapsing. This is why letting go feels like grief, confusion, and emptiness all at once. Because you are not just releasing them. You are releasing the version of you that existed with them, and that is why your mind resists. Because letting go doesn't feel like freedom at first. It feels like disappearance. But here is the hidden truth inside the pain. What feels like loss is actually separation from illusion, and what feels like emptiness is space being created for something new, something more aligned with who you are becoming, not who you used to be. The awakening. What letting go is really trying to teach you. You are not losing them. You are returning to yourself. At some point, something changes, not in the outside world, but inside you. The pain doesn't disappear completely, but it stops controlling your every thought. You begin to notice small gaps of peace between the memories. Small moments where you are not thinking about them. Small breaths where you are simply present. And in those moments, something powerful happens. Clarity begins to form. You start seeing the situation differently, not as something that destroyed you, but as something that exposed you. It exposed your emotional patterns, your attachments, your need for validation outside yourself, and slowly, painfully, honestly, you begin to understand this was never just about losing a person, it was about meeting yourself through loss. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And that strength doesn't arrive like lightning. It builds quietly, through acceptance, through awareness, through the decision to stop reopening wounds that no longer need explanation. You realize something simple, but life-changing. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people are meant to interrupt your direction, so you can finally question where you were going. And now, you are no longer the same person who was before the pain. You are more aware, more conscious, more grounded in your own emotional reality, and that version of you no longer chases what confuses it, because clarity has replaced attachment, and understanding has replaced pain. So if letting go feels impossible right now, remember this: you are not stuck because you are weak. You are stuck because you are transforming. And transformation always feels like loss before it feels like freedom. One day, you will look back at this moment and realize it was never about them. It was about who you were becoming without them. And when that realization hits, you won't feel broken anymore. You will feel awake. So ask yourself now, are you holding on to the person, or are you finally ready to let go of the version of you that needed them? Because letting go is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of your return to yourself.